Yo, what's up? It's your boy RJ in the building, and welcome to part 2 of the Teach Me Guide featuring Ipal teaching pain. Now, remember, this video is designed. Why was English hard? Was designed for you guys to watch in bulks, in bits, or have it playing in the background or wherever. Like, that's why the video is so long. So you don't have to just watch it all at once if it's a bit overwhelming. You know, it's just something to kind of, you have you have practice mode playing while you're listening to it, while you eat, whatever it is. But I definitely remember watching all of this video to the end, just like all the other videos, especially the last one. You can watch part 1 like before you watch this or after you watch this, it doesn't really matter, but I definitely suggest you watch part 1. Link will be in the description below, along with Ipal's socials as well. Again, him being a top 4 NA player and maybe even top 5 in the world or top 4 in the world as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Peace, sayonara, and adios.
Pain's Awakening is extremely overpowered.
There it is.
Now I will show you guys tips on how to use it, and I will also show you guys tips on how to get out of it. Because his awakening is just that dominant. It's one of the most dominant awakenings in the game. Cool, right? This is what you can do. That's all you have to do, people. That's all you have to do. Jump out of it like this, and you can counter. You can get away. Just single jump in like that and counter. I promise you'll be safe.
皆もご存知渦巻きナルト
Before we can move on to his tilt is okay, like this. A lot of people can do this.
Yeah.
That's something that really, like, if you catch someone on the air, and I'm pretty sure a lot of everyone, like just like that.
Yeah.
If you catch someone in the air like that, it's very good to keep them like
there.
Yeah, it's very well to keep them like that. But there's one thing that maybe a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
I think.
Yo, what's going on with me? I can't even jump dash that quick now.
So like, this is one thing that I find is it's so good to do with pain. If you catch someone in the air like this.
I hate armor break. I hate armor break.
So if you catch someone with pain and you catch yourself comboing them and they're in the air, this is one thing you can do. That works so well.
Yeah,
that
guaranteed 3-stun.
It's a guaranteed reset. If you do the 2 hits while you have them juggled in the air and you cancel it into a guard break pill, it allows you to reset them back down to the ground. So you can actually go for your guard, you can actually go for your regular ground damage and do what you have to do.
Okay. Because I know that, again, what I do, I don't know why. I think I like doing this because obviously if someone has subs, I feel like it's just safe for me. So if I am going for a juggle, what I do is I'll do this into tilt.
Actually, I don't do that, but that looks like it works really well.
Yeah. So I do that into tilt.
If you do it.
You're gone?
Huh. If you actually do that and then they call it a ground support, that would actually pull in the ground support as well.
Yeah. And some air supports too.
I'm not really familiar with doing that.
Yeah. So I do that after that one. If I do it after the rockets, then I get the bounce, which obviously I can then continue to juggle them. Do you know what I'm saying? So those are the 2 options I do usually after it.
Because typically I only do that 2 hit into guard break. Either that or I just keep the juggle going for as long as I can until I magically reset them to the ground again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never really done the 2 hits into Pain's tilt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's everyone's learning. That's why it's teaching series.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's so much, when you go through stuff, there's so much stuff that you can do with Pain's combos. Literally from beginning, we've not even got to his tilt, his jutsu yet, his awakening. He's just so much stuff that he has so much potential, and this is why
there is.
He is where he is. That's why he's meta relevancy. Okay.
Yeah.
So considering we showed off a bit of his tilt, what can you say about his tilt? Like anything you can say about it, like how to use it, when's a good time to use it, when not to use it, like
Some of the best times to use it is when Joey, jump for me. Like, let's say if someone's trying to get away from you like that.
Yeah.
You can do something like that. You can do it straight off of sub if you're quick enough and they're not suspecting it. One thing you could do is go ahead and make me sub.
Okay.
You could do something like that.
Yeah.
And then you could continue for your juggles like that or like this. Like now that we've learned that.
Just keep going.
I think I've done that a few times. It's just most of the time I definitely choose to do that, the other one with the stun. I think I've done the pain tilt a few times.
Yeah.
Just not, I definitely don't use it a lot.
Yeah, because just because like obviously when you juggle, you reset the neutral in it, so that allows you to do his jutsu, his grab, his tilt. So I do it like if, for example, let's say I have a strike back up, then I'll do like 2 hits, juggle, dash, and I'll do this. But do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like options in it, you know.
So then we also have his tilt. His tilt is extremely well because a lot of people don't know. Everyone knows that him and Nagato have the same tilt, which is universal pull. What a lot of people don't know is Pain's range is a little bit more than Nagato's. So like, let's say his range is right here. That hitbox is not true. His range is actually a little bit further away. So I could pull you from right there, even though you're not in it at all. I can still pull you from there.
Yeah.
So his hitbox on his universal pull, Nagato's universal pull is how it looks. The range of it is what it is. It's what you're looking at is the range. But when you're looking at Pain, his range is not true. His hitbox is a little bit further out than Nagato's. So which makes his universal pull very quick. So it's like if I'm right here, I can pull you from right there.
Yeah, but Nagato probably would not hit that.
If I were Nagato, I can't do that.
Okay.
But that's one thing about his tilt. There's not too much with his tilt other than you can do the regular combo. Or let's say you want a really high damage opportunity. Oh crap. Let's say you want a really high damage opportunity. You could tilt.
Get extra damage.
like that's a very high damage opportunity. You could pull someone very quick into a character that may have a higher damage output.
And I think because it's quick as well and the frame, so pressuring your Hashirama. Not many people can do that.
Yeah.
Because of that range in his tilting in between combos, like against characters a pushback, I think he can punish them for it.
Oh yes, and also do the one from Madara. So, or actually, we can show Pain against himself. Do it on the Pain thing. Like you can do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Like Pain is his own counter essentially because if you want to do something like that, you can universal pull him out of his own combo.
Yeah. And convert as well. Not even just universal, but convert too.
his tilt is very good. His tilt when you're using Pain when you're using Pain or someone is using Nagato, whatever the case may be, you always have to be alert because they have this.
Yeah.
You always have to be alert.
It's good for keeper, like I said, and again, common theme, it's good for keeper. If someone's dashing you and you read the dash, you just tilt in the neutral. Big tilt for no reason, and then boom, you're good.
I'm gonna do the regular dash.
And let me get the timing down. Alright. It's a bit slow, so you gotta really time it. So
yeah, because I would say like
it's like a read.
Depends on the situation.
Yeah, it's like a read most likely. Like if I'm going for it, I'll switch off. Like I don't see it.
Actually, try to run away from me really quickly. One thing is like.
Yeah, look at that range. Look at that range.
Look
at that range. Yeah.
It's very great for catching someone who is trying to play very defensive on you. It's very great for pulling them back to you and saying, you're not getting away from me.
Yeah. So like stopping in front of the guard and then just tilting. If they ninja move anywhere, they're locking you down.
And also keep in mind, since Pain's hitbox is also further out, his tilt will always pull them back in. If they're even out of your range, sometimes his tilt pulls them back in. You're not getting away.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm just gonna.
And then, I think does that cover his tilt?
I think the
For me,
only
there's not too much.
worthy mention is tilt when I jump. That's punishable. That's the only worthy mention of that. If they block it in the air, or like let's say they block it, I think if they block on the floor, I don't know who wins. Hold on.
The only thing about blocking on the floor is like they can do the
Yeah.
Yes. And then either this or sometimes they can.
Oops, I didn't mean to
can counter. It's very weird.
Yeah, I think on the start up to the kick, because you're locked in the tilt in it. Yeah, so you can throw someone off and get a counter if you get really good. And how he's doing that so fast again, so he has to do, if I can't do tilt into like anything else, like I'm mashing X now, you know, so at the start up of the kick you gotta press counter real quick and then get that off to make it safe, to make it a safe far. But if someone blocks that in the air, then you have no chance. You have no chance.
But they have to, for some reason, they have to double jump it in the air, which actually, it's more so a 50-50. Because go ahead, try it again.
Sorry, let me jump.
Yeah. There has been times, do the highest height.
There's no chance.
Like,
I have to tilt to even get that.
Yeah, it's like, depending on the height that you jump from, you could either punish them or you could not choose to punish them, which is another example of that 50-50 scenario.
Yeah. Like I got pulled far from you, so that the only way I could have punished you as pain is tilting again, but I was not getting a combo off, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like, other than that, the only other thing I can think is sometimes, and I'm not even sure how to make the scenario, so I'm sorry, I don't know how to make the scenario happen. Sometimes people do get pulled, past pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The only it's like, it's very weird.
It's like I think this is the only way I can think of. Wait, hold on, let me do it this way.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
Okay.
Let's see. I wonder if I can do it.
Yeah, do like a combo switch into it. That's the main times that I get it when I try and do it.
Let's see, because I cannot combo switch from the left. I can't combo switch from the right. I have to do it from the left.
It's a bit.
So one thing that it's like sometimes that does happen. Sometimes you'll have a situation where Pain will pull him past, and Nagato does it too. But sometimes, depending on the I don't know. That's never happened. I don't know why that's happening now.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen that happen ever. Like, but I know that the most common times that I've experienced it is through like a combo switch. So they do that, and I'll tilt after. And like
there you go.
There is, yeah. That's the most common I've seen. That's why now, like, if I do a combo switch into Pain, like if I do this, I just do this because the amount of times that I've been shagged because it goes straight past me. Like
the only other thing I can think of doing is if you do this super fast, like you try to cancel out that first hit as fast as possible.
Yeah, but chakra that shit. Yeah.
Or if you do have Nagato, I will switch into Nagato and do another universal pull. That's exactly. I do that all the time. If I have that, I will switch straight to Nagato and get right back to another universal pull.
Yeah.
And then I'll reset it and put them back in front of me. Okay. Now there are certain times where they are stunned long enough for you to do another universal pull. It's hard to see that situation though.
Yeah.
And I can't even recreate that scenario. It's just something that I can notice sometimes. And most of the time, sometimes I still won't choose to do that.
Okay.
It just depends. But there are some scenarios in which universal pull can be done on the opponent twice.
Okay. Okay. So regarding this tilt, I think that pretty much covers everything. I don't think there's anything else. Obviously, in terms of how to use that, again, as a recap, it's very good. It has long range, good for tilting in between combos against characters with pushback, like Hashirama here, for example. It's unsafe if you block it in the air, but you can get away with it depending on the height. I think that's the main things about it, really. So I think the last thing that we have to cover outside Awakening is his jutsu. Now, obviously, we all know it's a very good defensive jutsu. It's as good as the support as it is good as well. You can cancel it. It's good for setup as well. So if they block it, like you have options. If they block the jutsu, you can do a grab, you can do a combo. But like, what is anything you know, specific about it, or not really? Is it just, it is what it is, like does what it says in the tin, kind of juicy?
I think it does what it's intended to do, because one thing that people do, some people do this. Oh goodness gracious, I can't do this. So essentially what some people do, they do jutsu buffers, and I would say that's one of the main things it's used for. In my opinion, it's either used for, like, let's say if you're trying to bait out a dash, and they're like, you're baiting out your opponent's dash, you're trying to wait for them to come to you, so you do this. Like, that's something you can just literally wait for them, so you have a quick little. Either that, what some people actually go ahead block for me. Some people love to do this.
Yeah, and then they can go back and add in whatever.
Like, that's what some people do. They do a quick, they do like a quick jutsu switch.
Yeah.
Or off the guard, which for me, I don't use it that much because it's really weird to do it to me.
Yeah.
It's really weird for me to do it, but that is a situation where people use his where they actually do. They'll go ahead block for me, and I'll try to do it at least one more time. They do that off the guard, and then they may go into whatever else they go into.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think the only thing that I don't like about this is where I wish his jutsu was like Naruto's, because obviously there's the debate that everyone knows that starts World Wars, whose jutsu is better, Naruto's or Pain's. So I know that Pain's jutsu is bigger, obviously, but what I don't like is, so if you do his jutsu right and you block it, you can just dash right inside it. Now I've had so many times where I've used him as a support, someone's comboing me, I'll use Pain to get them off me, they'll just sub Pain's jutsu and just keep going. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas obviously with Naruto, that will completely shut you down as well. I think that's the only bad thing that I can think of with Pain. Apart from that, his jutsu is good all around, but that's the only bad thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna just sub and keep going, it's fine.
Now I will say his jutsu is good for quick damage, actually. Like, you can do something like this.
Boom, look at that health.
Like, that's a lot of health gone in a very short, like, a lot.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, if you have the strike back, you can just do that, boom, strike back, and then whatever.
Yeah, his jutsu is great for getting strike backs and stuff like that, because sometimes people will do this, and I'll get that. So it depends. If they don't flip fast enough, sometimes I will get the strike back, but the time to definitely get that strike back, oh goodness gracious, the time to definitely get that strike back is like, this will always give you the strike back.
Yeah,
that will always give it to you, always.
Yeah. Okay.
There's nothing they can do about that.
Okay, so I think we covered everything with him outside of Awakening at this point. Covered his combos, his tilt, his jutsu, his air combos, kind of his kunai, obviously saying that it's good for the guard pressure as well. Obviously it's fast too. But so I think now the only thing to cover is his Awakening, basically.
I would say the only thing I can say about the last thing I can say about his grab is
oh yeah, we didn't cover his grab. Yeah.
Yeah, his grab, in my opinion, because there's not too much to cover on it.
Yeah.
But I would say his grab is one of the best grabs in the game, and it's one of the only grabs where you could actually combo glitch efficiently.
Yeah.
You could actually like combo, like you could actually combo efficiently and get that grab off and reset and kind of try to reset the interactions safely. Whereas anyone else, you really wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. He's grabbed a lot of height, a lot of range. Like, I've been grabbed to like double jumping. Like, I'll double jump and he'll still grab me out the sky. Like, there it is.
And the best part is, it's amazing how it's not happening when we're trying it. But in a match, it would happen no matter what.
Literally, take our words for it. You'll be up here and it will grab you out the sky.
You'll be right there. You'll be right there. Even though it's not doing it when we're in, even though it's not doing it while we're trying to create the situation, with how the game plays out, we'll be all the way up there. That grab is touching us.
Yeah, for real. Grabs you right by your chakra, and that's it. Fools you
nothing you can
in.
do about it.
And obviously, you have the grab glitch as well with certain characters, like Obito, the one I showed off on my channel, Kizami. I don't know if you know it, where at the end of a combo, they counter switch, and then you can actually convert off the combo. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you're talking about where the grab, it's like it goes through, but the cinematic doesn't happen.
Exactly. Yeah. So he does have that element to it. So where, you know, ups the synergy with certain characters too.
Yes.
Basically.
Now I will say I don't know how to make that forcibly happen. Most of the time, if I do it, it will act. Most of the time, I've done it on accident, but most of the time, if I grab switch, it actually ends up sub banking. So,
fair, yeah.
yeah, it's like so. I try not to. I try not to grab switch too quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think, unless I'm mistaken, that's everything outside of Awakening, correct?
For the most part, I can't think of, other than his shuriken or other than his kit. Like the only thing I can think of outside of Awakening is how great his shuriken are for kind of quick damage. Like let's say if you have someone really trying to charge their chakra, right?
Yeah.
And they're almost dead. You know how hard it is for the best players to react to that? Like,
Yeah, because especially if you're on no chakra, you know when you're on no chakra and you just have this dickhead ping across the other side of the map, just throwing this, and you're like, bro, give me some chakra, man. You end up doing this, like.
Yeah, and even still, like you saw that a little bit for a chakra shuriken hitting you. That's a lot of that's a good bit of damage, especially like in end game. That's a lot of damage to take.
Look, there's 3.
That's adding up. Like that's a lot of damage to take, especially end game when you can't really afford to take damage like that.
Yeah.
So he has great shuriken. Even though he doesn't have much neutral, he has great shuriken to play neutral like that with, in which they're very fast and you can get some chip damage if you need to gain that health lead to make them come to you, or if you need to throw something like that and get that quick damage to where you definitely have health lead, and it's like, okay, now I don't have to play your game anymore, you come to me rather than I go to you, because you just use that quick shuriken pressure to get that damage in.
I know a few players, what they like to do is they like to ultimate like this, and then they'll throw this after, but to catch people jumping, guard manipulate them into the ult as well. I don't do it. I don't know why. I kind of feel like it's easy to dodge, but I've seen it happen where people will just ult and then they just get clipped and then land right in it.
Actually, if I had ever got hit by that, I'm quitting the game. But it's like if I ever got hit by that, I'm quitting.
He said, "That's it. No, I'm done."
Like, if I got hit by that, I think I need to get off the game for the day.
He said, "You know what? Today's not my day. I'm gonna go tomorrow."
Yeah, well, I'll try again tomorrow. We'll see.
End the stream.
There's been a few moments where I've got hit by something that's just like, maybe I should end stream off that. It's clearly not my day.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
There are certain moments like that, but I think other than his grab, I think we've mostly covered his entire kit.
Yeah.
That he has, at least outside of Awakening, what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
Just off of certain situations.
Okay. So, hey, that means the last thing to cover is Awakening, so I'll just get you there. So obviously, as I'm getting you to Awakening state, well, how can you introduce like Awakening, like just like the overview of it or anything like that?
Pain's Awakening is extremely overpowered.
There it is.
Now I will show you guys tips on how to use it, and I will also show you guys tips on how to get out of it.
The fear, the fear and the heart.
As we all know, his kit is extremely great. He has an incredibly big almighty push, an incredibly big kit. He has these two that are just incredibly big. That happens a lot. Like, I will show you guys how to use it, and I will also be showing how to get away from it.
Oh, but yeah.
Go ahead, I'm gonna get you to Awakening health, and then let's see.
Alright, cool.
So go ahead, awaken for me, and I will show you guys. Now, obviously, you know how a lot of people do. They start out with like the missiles, and then try to go in for almighty or for union control, right? This is what you can do. That's all you have to do, people. That's all you have to do. Because that is something that everyone gets hit by. They will try to get away from the missiles. They won't get away. Jump out of it like this, and you can counter. You can get away. Just single jump in like that and counter. I promise you'll be safe.
He said we will save
you. Away.
We will help you.
Because everyone gets caught by that. Everyone starts out by doing the missiles. They start out by doing the missiles, and then what they try to do. Now there is a counter to that, which unfortunately I will be showing. There is a counter to even me doing that, and I saw if anyone. I'm assuming most of the community is aware of the name of Playco Arm Boy. So So go ahead and try to do the thing that I showed you just now. Or actually,
wait.
Go ahead and try it again with me.
Okay.
I couldn't even get away from it. That
Jesus
man was dominant.
Oh my god.
Like, and then actually, go ahead and show them how much it'll track. I'll try to get away from it.
Oh, that almost got you, but still.
It literally almost touched me. It basically touched me. So, I will show you guys how to get around the little trick that I showed you of how to get out of it. Go ahead and try to do the same thing in terms of like the countering thing.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's all you have to do to beat me.
Kuna.
Like, that's it. You don't even have to do much.
Kuna.
So, actually, we're just...
Yeah, fun.
So, there's not... It's like, just throw the shuriken, or just throw the shuriken upon them doing that, and the missiles may or may not hit, but at least you make it so they couldn't... That counter didn't go through, and you're now still in their face.
Yeah. You kind of lock them down, basically. With no waste time. Because you only have, what, I think it's 11 seconds in Awakening? So...
I think it's 11 to 14.
Yeah.
It's 11 to 14.
Okay, so yeah, so you don't want to get knocked down and you go Awakening. So when someone hits a counter, I think that wastes like a good 3 seconds. So if you can shut that down, then yeah.
He has a lot of things. You can actually cancel his Awakening to like this.
Fun.
Like, it's a lot of... I did a lot of damage just by doing 2 actions into a tilt. I did a lot of damage. And... like, it's just... That would have been so much damage. That would have been so much.
Yo, the council saved me.
So... Alright. It's like, if you know anything with pain in the Awakening state, even though there's so much damage I could take.
For me, I think it's just mixing up, making use of this and his jutsu as well. Like, think about everything we said in the neutral, but just magnified. Like, do you know what I'm saying? If somebody tries to escape you, like I said, and you condition them with the kunai, they're not gonna counter anymore. So because now they're not countering anymore, alright, cool, I can just tilt whenever I want now. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Like, one thing that people started doing, Placo Armboy actually does this. Like, you can't do anything about that.
Yeah, not fun.
You can't. I literally guard manipulated you, and you couldn't do anything about it. You couldn't do anything about it anymore.
Oh my god.
So, it's like when you're playing against high level players. I promise, at that more so beginner to intermediate level, with players knowing like the bare minimum with the Awakening, they'll probably just do the missiles into universal pull, in which you could just do the regular jump away from it either to the left or the right, wait for the tilt, counter it.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing with players who are at very high level play, some of them still do the regular pull. Some of them still do that, and I do still catch players even with that.
Yeah.
Even at the highest level, I still catch players with that. But once people are aware of that, they do the whole... They do the whole...
Yep, see? Shot me down.
Right.
Swatted me right out the sky.
they do that, which is guard manipulating them. It's guard manipulating them into either taking the chip damage from the missiles and then even getting tilted into Pain's other action.
Okay.
So those are some tips in terms of like how to use his Awakening, and also because his Awakening, it revolves around his force field that absorbs chakra and stuns you. It revolves around that and his universal pull. His arrowhead is just something to just lock people down and catch them. But once they have you, it really is dependent upon universal pull and the absorption jutsu.
Okay. Okay, so basically that's like the main thing though. If you, it's basically like a mind game. Basically, am I gonna throw Kunen or not? Are they gonna try and condition you or they not? And then it's up to you to then work around that. But all in all, Pain has a very strong awakening.
Pain, in my opinion, he has one of the most viable awakenings in the game. It's very hard to get away from Pain's awakening. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
And I actually learned myself a little bit during. I learned myself during this video just because I don't do that. I typically do the regular missile into tilt, but I've been like talking about this. I realized I was like, didn't Playco do something else? Like he just throws a shuriken like that to guard manipulate you, and so that actually just. I'll probably be using that more whenever I do choose to awaken. I probably will be using that tactic a lot more to guard manipulate my opponents. And making sure that I get the full use out of that arrowhead, out of his arrowhead ability.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, the element of the teaching series, everybody learns something.
Yeah, it's just. I think it's just a great thing for everyone.
Yeah, basically. So that's pretty much everything to do with Pain. Really, we covered literally everything: his awakening, his grabs, his setups, his tech. You know, the fundamental side of him, who he pairs well with as well. So
yeah.
Just a few questions just to end off the video, right?
Yeah.
If you could like do it, like the CC2 went to you and CC2 said, okay, anything regarding Pain you can add on or take off or both, right? What are you asking for? Do you know what I'm saying regarding Pain?
I would ask them, for the love of God, please fix his tilt. For the love of God, fix his tilt. That tilt is no reason why I should be able to pull you when you're out of the hitbox. This is too far away for you to be able to pull me. That's too far. I'm asking them, please fix that. Because we actually looked at the debug mode on Storm, and we saw his hitbox. This is not real. Like I could be all the way from here, and I could be all the way like right here, and I could still kind of pull you from right there. It's like by the skin of your teeth, and that's not even. It's like that's kind of even outside of the hit range. But even if you're outside of the hit range like this, like us being this far from each other, like goodness gracious, if that were Nagato, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, Nagato's tilt is smaller.
It's like if that were Nagato, I'm not doing that. And then I think the only other thing I would fix about Pain, this comes from fixing an actual problem that's in the game's core mechanics with subbing. Because with Pain, a lot of people don't know, you have to preemptively sub this. If you try to sub this on contact, you're not getting you will sub it, but you will also take the damage.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
You have to be preemptively subbing. So like, let's say if you were to see me do Pain from here, as you're dashing me, if you're dashing me, but you're like, oh crap, I have to sub that. You have to be mashing sub as you're dashing. Like so, in the same frame that you're dashing, you have to be mashing sub. Otherwise, it's like otherwise I will get. Like, look at that. I subbed it, but I took the damage anyway.
Yeah, that's happened. That's happened. That's probably the most common thing. Like now that he's pointing out, when you jump on Storm and you're playing Pain, just pick Pain, yeah, and just bank how many times people sub after taking the damage.
Yeah,
all the time. Like high level, it doesn't matter. Like it's happening.
Don't do almighty push. This is the only way you can really. Like that's it. I had to. As I'm dashing him, I had to preemptively mash the sub button. That's a lot. It's like, it's like, go ahead, do it for me. It's like that's. It seems like you subbed it and you still got hit. It's like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to preemptively sub it. You can't sub it on contact. You have to sub it as you're dashing. And I wouldn't say there's no specific timing, people. For the love of God, just mash sub for your life, please. Just mash sub for your life. Don't think about a timing. Don't think about any of that. If you think about the timing, you're getting hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
like that. I think I really wouldn't change, but I would say he's a very good character. But I think if I were to change anything more about him, other than his tilt being a little bit too bigger than what it should be. And then his jutsu, I have to preemptively sub it rather than me being quick enough to sub it on reaction and the game just not taking it. I think if I were to nerf any more about him, I think that would be taking away from his meta relevance.
Okay.
Because just like on guard, right? the only thing, like, go ahead, guard for me. It's like the only thing that he has, like, while other characters like Hashirama have something ridiculous like this.
Yeah.
Like, Pain. This is all Pain has. That's it. Other than that, let me go ahead. All right. So it's like, other than the up combo, Pain, this won't, like, that's it. Like, that's it. It won't go any further than that, other than his up combo. Which, in retrospect, that's not the only way for me to do that. I would have to do something like that to really continue it. So it's just like, I think if I were to change anything more about him, that takes away from the impact that he has in terms of the game, in terms of its meta relevance. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't change too much other than those two things about him. The only thing I may also take off of him is his fire arrowhead tracking, because there's actually, let's try to show that one more time, and we can actually show like how ridiculous that is.
Actually, let me get Yuto awakening. Let me get Yuto awakening. I think it might be better.
Because it's very interesting where his fire arrowhead tracks extremely well. And I think the tracking on it, like, go ahead, try to move away from it. Like, just try to do like the whole, like, yeah, you can walk around it like that.
But if you ninja,
But, like,
maybe it'll
let's
track
say-
you.
Yeah, it's like, if I were to try to dash you after that, and you know how typically people do this,
Yeah.
like, go ahead, try to do that. It's like,
Yeah, good luck,
the arrowhead tracking it's way too great.
Yeah.
There's been times where that arrowhead has taken 90-degree turns and hit me, and that's normal for it to do that. Especially when you move, like, especially like if you have moments where you move like this, like it will track you like that. I promise it. If you do this, and that's a great movement right there, people. Like, if you do that, it's gonna still come for you. I promise.
It's one of the ones where it's
gonna
like,
really change.
you gotta dodge the rockets and you gotta dodge the player as well. So even though, I
Yeah.
dodged it like this, if you then followed up on me, like, I'm not dodging you and the rockets.
Yeah,
it's not
like,
happening.
And there's been times where I've dodged the player, but then there's been times where I've dodged the player and I've done some crazy movement like that. Those rockets came right there, and they just turned and they destroyed me. Universal pull into the absorption jutsu. I just lost 50% health in 2 seconds.
Nice,
And
fun.
it's like that's a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that concludes the Pain Teach Me series. I learned. Ipal learned. I'm sure you guys learned too. So yeah. So again, I will put Ipal's socials in the description. Be sure to check him out. I mean, I'll be surprised if you lot don't know him. He's a very known. I think you're like considered what, top 4 in the NA or the world, something like that.
So I'm not sure what it is at this point. At this point, a lot of players are getting really good, and a lot of players have really been irritating me with how they've learned so much. But I can still compete.
Yeah. So nonetheless, he's still a very top player. So if you want to listen to anyone, definitely listen to him. Check out his streams. He does a lot of first to 10s. I was watching your first to 10 today against Krim, I believe, which was very good. And so yeah. So without further ado, guys, I bid you guys farewell. Peace, sayonara, and adios.